Here we go. True or false? Another confirmed. That's not. No, wait a minute. I got to throw the challenge flag on whoever wrote this. Another confirmed cheating incident tarnishes the Patriots dynasty. Who wrote that? It's not a confirmed cheating incident.
It's your show. Figure it out. I don't know.
I didn't write it. It's not okay. Well, it's not the point, because it's like, when did you stop beating your wife? That's the type of question it is. It's a loaded question. Another confirmed cheating incident tarnishes the Patriots dynasty. False, because it's not a cheating incident. Chris?
No, I agreed. Right. I mean, this is what we argued about yesterday. Yes, false, 100%. You know, and
somebody's trying to stoke us into another fight.
Well, I'm sick of hearing people like, and again, I know you and I stand on different areas with Deflategate, right? And I know that's Tom Brady's problem. And to say all that too, listen, he played in the Super Bowl 49 and was awesome with the balls properly inflated. So it doesn't really matter. But do I think he still did it? Yes. Now, the other stuff, I'm so sick of hearing people telling me about, like, oh, the Patriots are so lucky, the Patriots cheat. No, the Patriots just work harder and prepare harder than everybody else. What do they always say? Luck favors the prepared, right? Well, that's why it favors them more times than not. I mean, you know, anything you watch, go on HBO and watch Saban and Belichick and that show they got on there, that little documentary right now. I mean, Belichick is on another level from the rest of football. It's constant, like, deep thinking about the game. That's why they win. It has nothing to do with cheating.
And the reason that cheating comes into play, and I've had this explained to me by multiple people over the years, because other teams can't compete with the Patriots. When coaches and general managers are called on the carpet by their owners as to why we can't beat the Patriots and why aren't we like the Patriots, they can't say because we're just not good enough. We don't work hard enough. We don't have the skills. We don't have the brain power. You say they cheat. That's why they're better than us.
100%. You know, and I think I've said this to you before. It's been a while, but the amount of times I've had coaches, we're talking football, and then my time in New England comes up, and I start to discuss, like, how they do things there. They don't really ever want to hear anymore, or the follow-up. There's no follow-up questions, like, because they realize, oh, wow, that's way detailed, overwhelming. How does that guy even have a life outside of football? All of those things, and then it just ends, to your point. So you're exactly right.
And it applies in any industry. And I've been there and I've done that, and from time to time I still deal with it now. Anybody who works harder than anyone else makes the people who aren't working as hard look bad, and they resent the people who are working hard, and they come up with other reasons why hard work is leading to good results, because they just don't want to put in the work.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Agreed.
They don't want to put in the work.
Agreed.
All right. The Buffalo Bills will win the AFC East. True or false?
Well, I'm going to say false. You know, again, I think they're really dangerous. But, gosh, they got to play Sunday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a tough football game. I would not be shocked if they won. I mean, I might pick them to win, actually. But I got to –
So true or false?
Well, I'm saying false, because I got to see it to believe it for them to beat the Patriots head-to-head. You know, that's another animal altogether. I mean, that's been like their big brother for the last 20 years. They can't ever seem to beat them. The Patriots have their way and figure out ways to win that way. And, you know, in those close, tight football games, too, I think the Buffalo Bills team is still maturing and figuring out how to win those type of games. And they're not always as perfect as maybe the New England Patriots are or have been.
Hey, and that Bills-Patriots game coming up in just 10 days. That's Saturday of Week 16. Our guy Mike Tirico will be calling it along with your guy, Kurt Warner. Odell Beckham Jr. and Tom Brady will be teammates next season. True or false?
I'm going to say false. But that's a very good question. I think there's I'm saying false for two reasons. I mean, there's a lot of other teams that I think would be interested in Odell Beckham Jr., so that takes the chance away of it being Tom Brady and Odell Beckham Jr. The other thing I'll say is, you also got to take into account if Tom Brady will be in New England next year. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Jarrett Stidham and Odell Beckham Jr. to go along with it. I know we've talked about this week a few times as it's come out. The New England Patriots are very high on Jarrett Stidham. I think they think he is the future as of right now. And, you know, even if there's Tom Brady there or not, you know, it does make sense to bring Odell Beckham Jr. in, whether it's to make your new starter thrive in a Jarrett Stidham or give Brady one more, chance, a swan song to go out in the right way. But I'm going to say false just because I think there'll be other teams interested, and I think there's a good chance he's just back with the Browns.
I'm going to say false just because there's too many pieces, too many parts, too many things that have to fall just right. And I know that Odell Beckham Jr. would love to play with Tom Brady, but I think he's going to take whatever he can get if he can get out of Cleveland. And he still wants to go to San Francisco. That video's floating around of him talking to Jimmy Garoppolo about, basically what seems to be, and there's different interpretations of what they're saying, but the general consensus is they're having a conversation about Odell Beckham Jr. trying to get to San Francisco and play with Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. So I think Beckham's main objective is going to be get out of Cleveland. He's not going to be as picky about landing with Tom Brady. We don't know where Tom Brady's going to land.
You really, all right, two questions. All right, I don't think Odell really wants to leave Cleveland. I don't think he's like, I want out of here. I don't believe it. I don't know. I don't have inside information, too. The other thing is, do you think John Dorsey would really trade him away, knowing that there's still such great potential there if he gets the right head coach or right group around him to kind of bring it all out?
Well, I believe completely Jay Glazer's report that Odell Beckham Jr. was telling players and coaches from opposing teams, come get me.
Yeah.
So if he's doing that, he wants out of Cleveland.
Yeah.
The question becomes, will the Browns try to salvage the relationship, maybe through the hiring of a new coach?
Yep.
Maybe John Dorsey brings Buddy Boy into the office, the whole Buddy Boy with the chewing gum.
And Buddy Boy.
And tries to convey, hey, Buddy Boy, we're going to have this new coach, and he's got a plan for using you, Buddy Boy. And maybe he can get Odell Beckham Jr. to buy in. And having Jarvis Landry in the locker room is a major draw to keep Odell Beckham Jr. in Cleveland.
100%, right.
But I think Odell Beckham Jr. sees on the inside what we see on the outside. That Freddie Kitchens just isn't the guy. I'm sorry. We've seen the evidence over and over again. The lack of discipline for the team, the inability to come up with ways to use Odell Beckham Jr. that don't feel forced and artificial. And if you get a new coach, that may change things. All right, Lamar Jackson is more dangerous than Patrick Mahomes. True or false?
Whoa, holy crap. We're just coming in with the hard stuff here. Oh, I'm going to say false. I don't feel confident about saying it. But, yeah, I still think Patrick Mahomes is, arguably the most dangerous quarterback in football. I do, yeah, I do. Just with not only the weapons around him, but some of the damnedest plays on a week-to-week basis where the play has broken down and he still makes something crazy happen. It's very close. I know Lamar Jackson's on fire, but I guess what I'm thinking, too, is I guess I got to see a little bit of Lamar in playoff football, too, to maybe make me feel a little bit better. Like, I know Patrick Mahomes can be dangerous in playoff football, too. We witnessed it in person. We saw him be very dangerous in the AFC Championship game. So I'm going to give him the slight edge.
Yeah, I'm going
do?
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm going Lamar Jackson because right now Jackson is the guy that no one has begun to figure out, and that running threat makes it easier to pass, and what he does as a passer creates those openings to run. That run against the Rams a couple of weeks ago that just kind of stole their souls late in the first half.
Right.
That came on a passing play where he's just like, oh, you know what, nothing's there, I'm gone. And you have to constantly account for both of the things that he can do very well. So I'm going to say Lamar Jackson for now. The Cowboys will miss the playoffs if they lose to the Rams this week. True or false?
False. Hey, they're competing with the Eagles. The Eagles can lose to anybody this week. It doesn't matter. The Eagles, I can't sit here and just say, oh, they're going to go to who? The Eagles got the Washington Redskins this week. I expect them to win, but nonetheless, even if the Cowboys lose this week, it still comes down to the Week 16 matchup, the head-to-head matchup against them and the Eagles. So I'm saying false.
Yeah, I agree with you. It all comes down to Week 16. Whoever wins that game at Philadelphia is going to win the division, make the playoffs, and have the home game that goes along with it, hosting the 5 seed, which most likely will be the 49ers or the Seahawks.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.